Welcome to our June 2023 release of Preside. This is the release notes for Preside 10.24. So we're releasing this just ahead of CF Camp and PresideCon. And we'll take a look at all the cool new features we've developed and also a couple of side projects such as the developer tooling and some admin theming to kind of help round things off. So without further ado, let's jump into the release notes. So as part of the release, we've updated the Preside command box commands, which you can install from within command box with install preside-commands. That should be quick. So once those are installed, there's an updated set of commands for creating new websites. So we can do Preside new site. This now gives us a slightly more controlled way of selecting your skeleton that you're going to create a new site with. And we've also updated those skeletons to reflect latest best practices and latest extensions and so on. So I'm just going to do this one, so I'm just going to put in my cool site and that's it. And that scaffolded me a website, for example. And the other command that has rather importantly been updated is the Preside start command. So this has been modernized to use the latest command box goodness and also use cfconfig for setting your data source and other Preside settings. So now when I hit Preside start, I can choose a database engine from a list, which is a bit better than it was before. I'm going to use that. I can put in the details. And it starts, and before we had some issues with the latest versions of command box where things would overlap. It's all been updated, it's all nice, much more portable than it was before. And so yeah, that's the update to the Preside commands. So next up we've had a update to our branding. So we've got a new logo and clearly Preside Platform as opposed to Preside CMS. And we can see that here in the new skeleton of a website. Log in, so we can see that the branding has been updated. Nothing much more to see there. What you will also notice here is actually we're using in our new updated skeletons, we're using the newly open sourced base admin alternative theme. So this is a different admin theme where the menu by default is along the top, and that gives you a lot of power in terms of what you can do with that menu, and also it gives you in certain pages that you want, you can then also have a left-hand nav menu, so that gives you much more options to do with that. Seb is doing a talk at PresideCon on this very theme, so there's probably a whole hour's worth of video talking about how you can use that to make awesome admins. So a super quick new feature is the icon picker. This is now an out-of-box form control where you can select any of the font or some icons from a picker. So I can look for a tree stamp, yeah, and so on. Nothing much more to see there, but really useful for building all sorts of UIs where the user gets to choose the icon. So that's that. So there's been a small enhancement for users for the URL redirects page and section of the admin. So if we come to rules, not there, to where have they gone? URL redirects right there. If we add a new one, there's a new option in here called preserve URL parameters, and if we look at the help for that, it basically says that if you've got an incoming URL with existing URL parameters, when we redirect to the new URL we will keep those. So thanks to Sasha for implementing that. So next we have a pair of enhancements to system emails in the email center. So let's take a look. We come to email center and system emails. We can now see that developers have the ability to categorize their system emails, which allows users to dive in and kind of filter their system emails by category and more easily find what they're after. In addition to that, developers can now create variants of system emails. So before this change, a system email template, there was one template for a particular system email. So if you had an event booking confirmation email, for example, there was one system email configuration with one set of content that all your event booking systems would use. So now we have optionally the ability to change a system email. So if we look at this system email, this is exactly as it was before. This particular system email cannot have any variants. But if I find ones where we've used it, so let's take a look at this one, event booking, we can now see we have a variants tab. And what that allows the user to do is create a new variant of this event booking invoice. We'll give it a name, my event booking invoice variant. And there we go, so it's created that, and it's copied the kind of existing content from the system email template that is its parent. And you can see in the crumb trail we've got you can see its parent there and then variants. So if I come back to the variants tab, we can see that we've got that here. If I come into here, we can then edit that and create different content. So that by itself isn't very useful, which is the reason why it won't just work out of the box for users for all system emails, because there's only a point in creating variants if there's a system that actually can then make use of them. So in this case, in our events system, we've got the ability to define different template sets and use them for different events and things like that. But really, really powerful new feature that allows you to develop much more rich email templating solutions. So that's that. So next up is our open sourcing of something we've been using in our admin theming. So we've open sourced the admin theme extension that we've been using as a base of our various admin themes, which we can see here. And in addition to that, there's a little framework we've been using to make the view record of data manager records a bit richer with kind of more nice options for displaying them. So if I come into our Pixelate CRM, for example, and we'll look at a record, we can see here we've got this left-hand menu with the option of adding a top left card, shall we say. We've got this, what we've been calling a ribbon, but is an area where we can put information about the record that we're viewing, and we've got like top right buttons coming up here at the top. So there's a whole load of stuff in here that allows us to do much richer data manager screen building, and that's all now been brought into Core. So here's kind of the latest iteration of that with the left-hand menu. We also have some other places where we have tabs along this way. So if we look at a subscription, for example, this is the more traditional version of this, what we've called the better data manager view record screen extension. The idea here is within a CFC that is representing your object for the data manager screens, you can define some tabs, and then you can put tabbed content for the record within there, including, you know, putting related data in a data table, and this info card here with overview information about the record. So that's really it. There'll be, again, I said Seb's doing a talk on that in Preside 2023, so we'll link to that at some point so you can see more about how to use it. But yes, very exciting that that's finally open sourced. So last but not least is the ability to provide default values for Form Builder form questions. So if we come to forms and questions and edit this text box, we can see it's called what kind, and we have a default value of giant. I'm not sure how useful that is. And if we look at the select one here, we've got multi-values with a default value of 2. So the labels are 1, 2, 3, and you can pick one of those. The default is going to be 2 for that one. So over here we are showing a page that has a form builder form with those questions embedded, and we can see that the answers are defaulted to the user input through the admin. So that's true for all of the form builder question types, so there's the ability to provide a default value for those. So that's it. Do check out the preside.org website for updates and release notes, and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.